Hey guys, well it is another beautiful day here in northeastern Pennsylvania. We just had some snow and yeah, it's nice out. Alright, so our next box, the theme for it is shelter. I'm going to go ahead and do our spiritual portion first, and then we'll get into what's in your box. Alright, so our verse for this week is Psalms 91, 1 through 6. It says, "Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress, my God whom I trust. Surely He will save you from the fowler's snare and from deadly pestilence. He will cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you will find refuge. His faithfulness will be your shield and rampart. You will not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that stalks in darkness, nor the plague that destroys in midday." I've been thinking a lot about what it means for both physical shelter and spiritual shelter. In the last couple months, God has been an amazing place of shelter for me. And I just wanted to share that with you. In everyday things, in little things and big things, He has been shelter. What does shelter mean? Shelter is protection. Shelter is safety. Shelter is knowing that there's somebody or something there to protect you, and God is that for us. Other places in the Psalms, David says we can cry out to Him with our cares, with our worries. So shelter, just that idea of crying out to God, Him being near to us, Him putting a hedge of protection around us, and He's always there. He's always there when we need Him. Sorry, let's get into the box. It's a little small this month, but they all kind of go together, and they're a little. Alright, so the first item is a can opener. Now, I realize that doesn't really go with shelter, but you would be surprised at how many times I've been someplace and somebody said, "Oh, do we have a can opener?" And sometimes it means the difference between getting to eat dinner and going hungry. So, there is a can opener in here. The blade part folds out, attach it to the edge of the can, work it back and forth like this, around backwards, and it opens the can. Army's been using them for years and years. Another great thing to just throw on your keys. I realize I'm giving you guys a lot of stuff to kind of go on a set of keys that you may or may not have use of yet, but when you get a little bit older, keys are going to be a part of everyday life, and that part of that everyday carry of stuff that you carry with you. So P38 can opener. Alright, so the next thing, it's nothing fancy, it's nothing fabulous, but you have a small multi-tool in here. There is a knife on it. I expect you to all be responsible with that. But it's got pliers, small screwdrivers, a little file, and can be very useful in many things, but in setting up some kind of a shelter. Specifically, the kind of shelter we're going to talk about next. So the next thing we have is a foil mylar rescue blanket. Now, as you can see, this is about the size of a deck of cards. Could go anywhere, backpack, whatever. These are also called space blankets. What they do is they reflect your body heat or a heat source back at you. So if you wrap it around you, it sends the heat back to you, basically. That's what they wrap people who are cold and in shock up if they've had an accident or something. So this can be a great asset to you. Cover up with it if you're in an emergency kind of a situation. You can also use it as a reflector. If you have a fire in front of you, put it behind you and it will reflect that fire's warmth back on you. So there's a space blanket. Next thing we have is a hat. You should always have a hat with you, especially in this time of year. you lose a lot of heat out of your head, and hat can really keep you warm and make a big difference. This one happens to be reversible. It's camo on one side, orange on the other side. If you were in an emergency situation, flip that puppy around, make it nice bright orange so that people can see you and find you. You could also use it as a signaling device if you were not wearing it on your head at the time. Alright, so the last thing is a trash bag. Now, I realize you're going, why did you send me a trash bag? Here's the deal. It's a big heavy trash bag. It's a 55-gallon drum liner, and it is what is recommended to carry if you are going on a day hike or something like that as an emergency shelter. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to trap all of your body's heat in. You can use it as a poncho, put a hole in the center, pull it down over your shoulders like that. But the recommended way is to either hold it up like this in front of you, find where your face would be and pinch that spot, and rip a hole in the front. Or the method that I like better is actually to come to this corner, come down a couple inches, and then cut a face-size slit. You could lay it down on something and cut it out, or just use your can opener or the little knife on there. Cut it, slit it open, slide the trash bag down over your head, and then what you're actually going to do is you're going to tuck the bottoms underneath you and sit on the tails. Now, that's going to trap all of your body heat in. It's a wind block, a rain block, and in an emergency situation, it would be, it's a great way to make a real quick shelter. Because shelter, you also have to realize, sure, maybe you could build an emergency shelter or something like that, but you're going to use up so much energy and be so cold because you're going to get sweaty from that this you can pull out of your backpack or whatever you have it carrying it in, and sit down and sit on. Now, hopefully you don't ever have to use it, but if you need to. Also, it could be that you cut the bottom off and make a tube out of it, and you could use the piece of rope I gave you in the last box, tie the rope between two trees, and then make this into a makeshift tent if you were in the need to lay down or something like that. You can also use it, if it's not been cut, this way to transport water. So there's a lot of different uses for a trash bag beyond just throwing garbage away. So, I hope you enjoy it. I hope you guys have a really Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and God bless. And we'll see you in a couple months.